Good day, I am Florence Racy Cinqua of BSc E3B, your reporter today about building permit. Here in our country, almost everything needs a permit in order to prove legitimacy and ownership of something, like business permit, examination permits, and even building. And in today's lesson, we will discuss about building permit, ancillary and accessory permit, types of works that requires a building permit, types of works exempt from a building permit, requirements of a building permit, and its procedures and importance. So first, let's discuss about the definition of building permit. Building permit according to National Building Code Chapter 1 General Provisions Section 106. Building permit is a document issued by the building official to an owner or applicant to proceed with the construction, installation, addition, alteration, renovation, conversion, repair, moving, demolition, and other work activity of a specific project, building, structure, or portions thereof after the accompanying principal plans, specifications, and other pertinent documents with the duly notarized application and found satisfactory and substantially conforming with the National Building Code of the Philippines and its implementing rules and regulation. It is also stated in the National Building Code Chapter 3 Permits and Inspection Section 301 that no person, firm, or corporation, including any agency or instrumentality of the government, shall erect, construct, alter, repair, move, convert, or demolish any building or structure or cause the same to be done without first obtaining permit, therefore, from the building official assigned in the place where the subject building is located or the building work is to be done. Therefore, building needs a certain type of permit in order to successfully continue on the construction of certain establishment. Getting this is making you compliant of the National Building Code which was set years back. Next, let's differentiate ancillary permit to accessory permit. Ancillary permit are permits duly signed and sealed by the corresponding professionals, and the plans and specifications shall be submitted together with the duly notarized application for building permit, while accessory permit are permits issued by the building official for accessory parts of the project with very special functions or use which are indicated in the plans and specifications that accompany the building permit application. Examples of ancillary permits are architectural permit, civil or structural permit, electrical permit, which is required before putting up new or additional or alteration of electrical installations involving of at least 20 outlets or a capacity of 4 kilowatts. Next is mechanical permit, which is required before the installation of new or additional removal or alteration of machinery of at least 20 HP. And lastly, sanitary or plumbing permit, which is required before the construction of new or additional or alteration of existing plumbing installation, water supply, storm drainage, water purification, and sewerage treatment plants. While examples of accessory permits are fencing permit, which is secured prior to the actual construction of fence, demolition permit, which is secured prior to the systematic dismantling or destruction of a building or structure in whole or in part. Next is scaffolding permit, which is secured whenever the erection of scaffolding occupies city lines, and other accessory permits such as sign permit, sidewalk construction permit, excavation and ground preparation permit, and lastly, temporary service connection permit. So now, on the next slide, let's discuss the types of work that requires and are exempt from a building permit according to the revised implementing rules and regulation of the National Building Code of the Philippines, PD 1096. It is stated in Chapter 3 Permits and Inspection, Section 301.3, Exemption from Building Permits, that Exemptions from permit requirements of the code shall not be deemed to grant authorization for any work to be done in any manner in violation of the provisions of this code or any other laws or ordinances of this jurisdiction. So, to further discuss this part, let's go to section 105 2.1 of building. Items that require a permit are any accessory structure, greenhouse, shade cloth, agricultural platform, sidewalks, and driveways, any swimming pool, regardless of height, depth, and capacity, swings and other playground equipment located on university property, and re-roofing, regardless of roofing material type, will require a permit. Items that will require further review to determine permit requirements are fences, regardless of height, retaining walls, regardless of height, installation of any sliding or non-structural weatherproof exterior covering, installation of locking or security hardware on egress doors, or changing the types of locking devices are also subject to permit requirements. On the other hand, items that are exempt from a permit are those movable cases, racks, counters, and partitions not over 5 feet and 9 inches are exempt. Painting, papering, tiling, carpeting, countertops, and similar finish work are also exempt. Temporary motion pictures, seasonal celebrations, television and theater, stage sets, and scenery are also exempt. Contractors' temporary construction offices, which are associated with the permitted construction project, are also exempt. And lastly, minor repair or replacement in kind of non-structural components such as glass or glazing material and sashes located in non-rated assemblies, non-rated doors, patching walls, and ceilings in non-rated assemblies are exempt. Next, let's go to section 105 2.2 electrical. Items that require a permit are temporary wirings for experimental purposes in experimental laboratories or other similar spaces will require a permit. Items that will require further review to determine permit requirements is those temporary wiring for theaters, motion picture, and television studios, performances areas, and similar locations. While items that are exempt from permits are installation or replacement of equipment such as appliances, lamp holders, lamps, and other utilization equipment manufactured, approved, and identified for cord and plug connection to suitable permanently installed receptacles. Next is repair or replacement of motors rated 50 HP or less, transformer rated 45 kVA or less, or fix approved appliances of the same type and rating in the same location. Take note that to be exempt, the work must not include or cause to be necessary any additions or modifications to the premises wiring system as defined in the National Electrical Code. So, number 3, temporary decorative lighting approved and identified for cord and plug connection. Next, repair or replacement in kind of any switch other than a service disconnect, receptacle, contactor, control device, and other utilization equipment rated 60 amperes or less. Fifth, replacement in kind of any circuit breaker other than service disconnect, rated at 125 amperes or less, or any fuse. 6. Repair or replacement of electrodes or transformers of the same size and capacity for signs or gas tube system. And lastly, installation, repair or replacement of electrical system and components within machinery or equipment which is not defined by the code as building service equipment. Next, section 105 2.4 mechanical. Items that will require further review to determine permit requirements is those repair or replacement of any component, part, or assembly within equipment or appliances which does not alter the original approval and complies with other applicable requirements of this code. replacement or alteration of the refrigeration system to utilize a different class of refrigeration shall require a permit and compliance with all requirements of the code applicable to the new refrigerant. Items that are exempt from a permit are those portable or plug and cord connected heating, cooling, and ventilating equipment or appliances. While those items that require a permit are those dishwashers, food grinders, ice machines, love equipment, and similar appliances. Second, rearrangement of or relocation of valves, pipings, or fixtures. Third, repairs to concealed valves, piping, or fixtures. Next is na section 105 2.5 plumbing. Items that are exempt from a permit are those that stopping of non-concealed leaks in drains, water, soil, waste, or vent pipe, the clearing of stoppages or the repairing of the leaks in pipes, valves, or fixtures, and the removal and reinstallation of water closets. Third, replacement of water closets, valves, or fixtures with new valves or fixtures complying with the conservation requirement of this code. And lastly, except as listed above, replace or replacement of any portable or built-in appliances which are not regulated by this code as building service equipment and which connect to the building water, drain, or gas piping systems by approved means. So last part of this topic, section 105 2.6 repairs. Items that require a permit are repairs that include the cutting away of any wall, partition, or portion therefore, the removal or cutting of any structural beam or load-bearing support, the removal or change of any required means or of egress or rearrangement of parts of a structure affecting the egress requirements, any addition to alteration of replacement or relocation of any standpipe, water supply, sewer, drainage, drain leader, gas, soil, waste, vent, or similar piping, and last, any addition to alteration of replacement or relocation of electric wiring or mechanical or other work affecting public health or general safety. While items that are exempt from a permit are those ordinary repairs such as replacement of lamps or the connection of approved portable electrical equipment to approved permanently installed receptacles. Next slide, application for building permit, chapter 3, permits and inspection, section 302, application for permits of National Building Code. So here is the requirements for application. 1. A description of the work to be covered by the permit applied for. Next, certified true copy of the TCT covering the lot on which the proposed work is to be done. If the applicant is not registered owner, in addition to the TCT, a copy of contract of lease shall be submitted. Next, the use of occupancy for which the proposal work is intended. Also, estimated cost of the proposed work. And lastly, at least 5 sets of corresponding plans and specifications prepared, signed, and sealed by engineers concerned. For more detailed requirements for building permit, let's discuss first, properly filled up applications forms duly signed and sealed by engineers concerned. So these forms are building permit 5 copies, electrical permit 3 copies, and sanitary permit of 3 copies. Next, if the applicant is the rightful owner of the land, you may include the tax declaration, certified true copy of transfer certificate of title or the TCT, on file with the registry of deeds 5 copies, and current real property tax receipt 5 copies. Third, if property is not registered under the name of the applicant, you may submit 5 copies of any of the following: contract of lease, contract of sale, affidavit of consent of the lot owner for the construction of building or house, and deed of absolute sale. So number 4, 5 complete sets of detailed plans, as said earlier. 5, for construction of two-story buildings, we need structural design analysis, which is signed by civil engineer at every page. While for construction of more than two-story buildings, we need boring and plate load tests and seismic analysis. Other requirements needed are permit billboard, bill of materials and specification, locational clearance, photocopy of PTR number and PRC license of all concerned engineers and architects, clearance from the DPWH if the construction is located along National Highway, and also dolly clearance. So now let's discuss the procedures of securing a building permit. This may apply to those applicants. So first step, get a requirement checklist and application form from your municipal's office or the office of the building official. The forms and the documents are to be filled up by your architect and engineers. Step 2. After your construction specialist sign and fill the forms out, submit the forms to the office of the building official. Then they will tell you then where to go next, in this case, assessor's office. So step 3, you will be issued acknowledgement slip which bears the date and date of status of your application. So once the application is approved, you will be issued an order of payment to pay all the necessary permit fees you have to settle. And step 4, present the order of payment at the treasurer's office and pay the fees. So fees range from 6,000 and above depending on the construction size, municipality location, and assessment plan. So fees in the provinces are usually cheaper than in the cities. Step 5, present a photocopy of the official receipt or OR, or bring the OR itself to the office of the building official releasing section. And last step, so after 5 business days, return to the releasing section of the office of the building official and claim your building permit. So now let's discuss the last part of this lesson, the importance of building permit. So first, it protects the property value. So your home or business is an investment. So if your construction project does not comply with the codes adopted by your community, the value of your investment could be reduced. So building permit makes selling property easier. When property is sold through a multiple listing association, the owner is required to disclose any improvements or repairs made and if permits and inspections were obtained. So many financial institutions will not finance a purchase without proof of a final inspection. So lastly, building permit improves safety because your permit allows the code official to reduce potential hazards of unsafe construction to provide for public health, safety, and welfare. So that's all for today's lesson. I hope you learned something. Thank you and God bless.